Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. Alex Bregman is a sock kid. 3 years, $120 million. Let's talk about that. Hey, Pivetta's a Padre. Oh no, let's talk ball. Oh no. Oh shoot, tight quarters.
Doesn't he like knob to the pitcher, Alex Bregman?
Oh,
Like that swing, though.
yeah. It's a good hitter's park. God. Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. Make sure you use code TALKIN2025, 10% off your next order. Make sure you go and use that. Thanks to our friends at SeatGeek. Jake Storielli here in beautiful Jersey City in our warehouse with Trevor Plouffe in person. We're touching. Rob Scirocco is here. An emergency episode. We just did winners and losers of the offseason. And I think someone just got fully elevated into winners.
Yes.
With the Boston Red Sox. Trev, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to be in person. Yeah, we were sitting at the bar at the hotel last night, just having one
Yucking
together. Yeah, and we get the Alex Bregman news, not to mention the Nick Pivetta news. So I'm excited to talk about these guys because we've been waiting to see where Bregman was going to go, and we had an inkling of Chicago, possibly Detroit, Houston back in the mix. I think the Red Sox weren't really, I mean, they've been involved, but according to, all the experts out there, they weren't really in the forefront.
Right.
And here they come offering a $40 million AAV to our guy. So Bregman, he got the bag, man. It's an interesting fit. I think Bregman has something for small left fields, which kind of like that for him. That's smart, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I want to hear your thoughts on what that means for the AL East.
Oh, sure. Well, let's start with the Boston Red Sox. This was, like you said, this was rumored early on. This was winter meetings. Boston's going to be involved. And man, it's been a funny couple years for the Boston Red Sox since we've been doing Talkin Baseball. Kind of the Red Sox were trading Mookie Betts away. And that was the vibe. And then I think 21, they had a little bit of juice, but for Red Sox, Red Sox fans expect titles. That whole city since Tom Brady,
they've been on a heater.
Kevin Millat.
Yeah.
That city was lovable losers 20 years ago, and then they've been winning that, give Heim some time. They fired him. He's out. He's co-GMing the Cardinals now. Go look into that for a good time. It's probably a smart plan, but it could get weird. But the Boston Red Sox, they came back to the table this offseason. Garrett Crochet, the best pitcher available. They got him. But there was still a side to it, like Walker Buehler on 1 year. There was still a side to it that was okay, are the Red Sox operating differently? The only thing that's been big market Boston Red Sox was extending Devers. They lost Xander Bogaerts, which that contract's in an interesting spot now, and we'll get to the Padres. I guess Red Sox fans were skeptical they were going to close the loop on this because Boston also has a bunch of top prospects along the way. But they had the top of their lineup was three lefties. It was Duran, Devers, and Casas with other supportive lefties in Yoshida, which what's going on with him? Breggy's the perfect fit, man. And there's he pulls the ball. So we were wondering about different stadiums. He's in the perfect place for him. He's getting paid more AAV wise than we ever would have thought. And yeah, as a Yankees fan, he's one of the last guys I want to see coming up. It's a July game, and here comes Breggy with two runners on. It's a nightmare.
In July?
Well, it might be October, right? We haven't been talking about that for the Yankees.
I wouldn't worry about July for you guys. I'd worry about, that guy's played in more playoff baseball games than anyone. So good for him. Yeah, it's the Red Sox, I believe, pushed their timeline up last year. When you have guys come up and become Major League All-Stars, young guys, I think realistically they thought probably before last year let's get Abreu and Duran and Rafael, let's get their feet wet, and then we have this other crop of prospects coming up. Let's get them together, and then we'll go.
Right.
But they were too good last year. I think they
Duran's season was crazy. I think
they outperformed expectations. You forgot Trevor Story as far as free agents being brought in because he hasn't really been on the field.
Yeah, it's true.
But because they're ahead of schedule, I like this. This is like, it's not like a stopgap necessarily because it is guaranteed for 3 years, but there is the opt-out. So it could be a stopgap depending on what Bregman wants. So I think it's a win-win for them. They either get Bregman to stay for 3 years, and I don't know what that means if he stays. Does that mean he just has like an okay year? Because $40 million, it's hard to find on that's hard to find on the open market.
Yes.
So even if it is a 1 year a deal, I mean, they have people ready to come up and kind of take his place. Are they going to be Alex Bregman? Probably not, but they've had recent success with their young guys. It's just an interesting timeline. I think they are one of the best teams in the American League, Jake. And even before Bregman, I thought they have a real chance to be that. I think he kind of solidifies them as at least a top 3 team in the AL.
Yes, I think that was already there.
Yeah, it was close.
And it's okay. Sox fans aren't going to like this, but I think before the Bregman signing, which, dude, we end up laughing because one guy in baseball, like, I'd love to hear what we were saying when they signed Story, because I wanted Story to be a Yankee. I used to go on, my original online moniker was Jake Story because I just didn't know if like my last name should be out there when I was living in Colorado and we were just getting started. And one time a Rockies podcast reached out and they're like, "You're not like, are you and Trevor related?" We are not.
They're not.
No, we're not sure where that was going.
I don't know either.
No, it's for the Red Sox. It was a little bit, you're looking at the top of the AL and you're like, okay, are the Mariners going to, okay, giggle in my voice. Sorry, Mariners. Every episode now. The Texas Rangers should bounce back, but also the first DeGrom update we get, that could send us in a different direction. Are the Orioles going to bounce back? Like, when you're going through the tops and you look at what the Red Sox did and their young guys on the way, it's kind of like, oh, the Sox are going to be back. Now, I think they have an argument for best team in the AL. I do think with the Yankees coming off the World Series and the whole Yankee conversation of, okay, did they maybe become a better baseball team without Juan Soto? But hey, you're also going to miss one of the historically best hitters ever in your lineup. You will feel that. I do think the Yankees would have the edge coming into the season, but it's also baseball. How many times do we see a team, the Mets 2 years ago was supposed to be, oh my God, look at the Mets. The Mets last year were a better team than that team. So the Red Sox are back in the mix, which, again, most of me is excited for until that Alex Bregman October at bat. Chapman comes in for the 8th inning.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
And then Bregman comes out to hit.
Walker Buehler's a swing man. He might just come close the games out against you guys.
Right. Might like they grabbed a lot of anti-Yankee infinity stones.
Yeah. So their offseason's been awesome. They bring in, it's Justin Wilson and Aroldis Chapman to the bullpen. They bring in, obviously, trade for Garrett Crochet, bring in Walker Buehler. Now Alex Bregman. It's been, they've been adding like winners.
They got a lot of alpha dogs.
That's what I'm saying. They've been adding winners.
Liam Hendricks is
coming back.
Bullpen.
Yeah.
Breggy.
And the interesting thing is, you say alpha dog. You say alpha dog for Bregman, which I'm on that side. Yeah. But he's switching positions apparently, according to our guy Jeff Passan. He's willing to move to second base, and that was my question last night. We're at the bar. So there's a lot of quarter guys because Costa's got to play,
right?
And what's that mean if Devers has to move off third base? He doesn't want to move off third base. So Bregman will move to second base, which kind of, people are saying it's going to block Christian Campbell. Okay. This guy had a crazy year in the minor leagues last year. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. And that's another point about all of this is you talk about the Red Sox kind of being in that sweet spot right now. If they have these 3 prospects they really like. Roman Anthony, he's an outfielder. They have Christian Campbell, who's kind of played all over the place in the minor leagues, and they have Marcelo Myers.
Do you have a Roman Anthony connection? Aren't you connected to one of these prospects? Isn't it like a friend of a friend or something?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Roman Anthony went to the same school as Anthony Rizzo and all these other guys.
Okay.
There's a connection there.
Fun fact
for you. You and Rizzo played catch for the foul ball one time.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
For another time.
And then they have Marcelo Meyer, who is, that's my connection. My babysitter dated him.
There you okay.
You did.
I didn't want to put that out there if you didn't. Okay.
Shout out Luca. She's a sweetheart. So
They've got either capital
I'm
or
not
a
saying
plan.
I'm not saying that all these guys are going to come up and do what Duran has done or even Abreu has done, because I mean, I know they're top prospects, people. I know you expect a lot of them because they've been doing it in the minor leagues, but the big leagues is just different. You know, prospects don't always work out. If two of those guys comes up and all of a sudden they have like 5 of their starters making league minimum or early arbitration, that, Jake, is when you go out and can spend $40 million on a free agent to supplement your roster. So like they're in this sweet spot. They could trade if they wanted to. They have a ton of options. And I think that's what should scare people more than anything. Alex Bregman is going to be great for them. Might be for 1 year. But the fact that they're understanding the timeline is there and they just have options, I think you might see that big market Red Sox back.
Yeah, and they have so many ways you can go, and that's essentially what you're saying. And whether that's
Kyle Tucker on the Red Sox next year,
easy with that. They can, if they want to trade that capital and go, they can go. If those guys are good, they've got unlimited options. And yeah, you mentioned Kyle Tucker hitting free agency, extend Garrett Crochet, like you traded for him, and that was traded for. He essentially was traded for a prospect package. That's, I don't want to. This gets weird when you start talking about actual humans, but Kyle Teal, who was kind of headlining that trade, was a little bit less of a prospect of those 3 guys you're mentioning. They're in similar pools, but that got them Garrett Crochet.
Yes.
So like Padre fans, you're probably excited for this episode, and I don't think you should be in a second when we get there.
Why?
Well, I think you and I both think that Pivetta means they're going to trade someone else.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. Hey, I know Boston's rotation looks pretty solid, but what's the asking price?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you think Boston's going to go do it?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the baseball season can go a lot of different ways. And if Dylan Cease were to become available now or later, or Michael King, who also might sneaky be available, a Boston kid, by the way, former Yankee. Okay, now I'm getting hostile.
Nightmare season.
Okay, they wouldn't have to. They probably wouldn't have to trade one of those 3 because it's 1 year of Dylan Cease. They got Crochet for
1 year. Both of them, Kings 1 year as well.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
So yeah, Padres fans, get ready for that later. The point of it is the Red Sox are built great for this year. They needed a righty to break up their lefties. I think Bregman had a bone chip thing in his elbow.
He had surgery on it.
That maybe second base was more in play for this year than we thought. Because I think there is an honest conversation to be like, hey, Rafi Devers, the conversation for multiple years now is like, when's he going to slide over to first or even DH it? And again, Boston is probably one of the organizations that views that in the nicest light because they've seen a first ballot Hall of Fame DH for years. That also was a Dominican, one of the best lefty hitters you've ever seen. That in their heads, that's more of a no-brainer than gets laid out. Alex Bregman won the Gold Glove at third base. That could become an interesting thing if there's a couple tough hops in April and you're looking at Breggy at second and you mention all these corner options. Again, that would be a very first world problem if you're talking about that. But you'd also, the Red Sox have so many different options that they can move their board for this year if they need to, for the next couple years if they need to. Although the one thing I keep coming back to, I didn't think about this. What would Bregman need to opt out? $40 million a year.
40 million is a lot, dude.
That's a lot of quiche.
Like, he's got young kids now. Sometimes I think guys or people don't understand, like, there are times where, and I've said this about Bregman. I think he's a rat.
Right.
But after 3 years, he could be sitting on 120 plus whatever the heck else he's made. And he'd probably be like, I don't know if I have to play anymore. If I want to be home with my kids, I mean, that's that kind of deal for him.
Well, do you think there's anything
making $40 million that quickly?
Right.
And we don't know. There might be deferred money. I think it's said that there is
every
deferred
contract's
money.
Deferred money.
Yeah.
Now, so
it's just fake money. All I'm saying is, I mean, that's the kind of AAV he's getting. You could do that. I don't think he's going to do it, but
yeah, I guess, I mean, for him, it's a great, if one of his next 2 seasons is he goes nuts, which, hey, go look at Tyler
I
O'Neill.
think the qualifying offer is an interesting part of it. Obviously, next year he
Sure.
would go back out without the qualifying offer. Interestingly enough, as you know, the Red Sox have to surrender a pick to acquire Bregman. They're actually going to gain a pick because
Pivetta
just signed.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is biggest winner is Alex Bregman. He got, I think the Cubs offered him the same amount of money for 4 years.
Yes.
Which that's
AAV way down. I think the Astros, same thing.
Right. And then the Detroit Tigers ended up giving him the biggest offer.
6 years, 171, which is 28.6 a year. He can opt out after the 2026 season. The Cubs was the same thing. 4 years, 120, opt out after the 26 season. He got everything he wanted with the Red Sox.
And that's hand up. And it's a reminder, talking baseball, Trev knows ball. We both entertain. I run into some stuff. I thought the Alonso signing was going to be bad for Bregman, but Bregman had the chips all along. Like he had these offers in his pocket.
Yeah.
And you have to wonder what he was waiting for. Was there question marks about living in Boston, and family stuff? I'm not doing like any Boston hate or anything, but I don't know. I think he's got I believe he posted on social media that his wife is pregnant again.
Good for them.
Yeah. That again, there's life questions.
Yes.
Hey, Chicago, 120 million, Boston, 120 million, Detroit, Houston, was that still sitting there? You're debating a lot of really good problems. That Bregman's a huge winner. It would be crazy to see what it would be for him to opt out again, get more of a bag. And then, okay, is it life decisions? Is it World Series chasing? It could be anything with him. That he is a massive winner from this. And if you're a Red Sox fan, you have to be on cloud 9. And you hear a little Yankee panic in the voice because it's, okay, the Yankees went to the World Series. Okay, no teams really stepped up. The one team that did is the Sox.
All white middle infield.
Whoa.
Rarity.
Whoa.
What?
Wow.
That's okay to say.
That's okay.
How many else? I mean, there's not a lot of them out there.
Interesting.
Go check that out.
Swanson Horner.
Orioles, possibly.
Yeah.
Jackson's the second baseman.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm going with that.
I don't know either.
Who cares?
I thought we were saving unexciting ones.
I was gonna go.
Pivetta.
Well, no, because I was gonna. Him and Gibby. I was gonna go. Is this one of the most attractive middle infield duos? But I don't know how I feel. Is Bregman in that category?
Yeah, I don't know. You have him lying about his height.
Yeah, I do.
Hey, I will say, okay. Some Red Sox just wrap up on it. Does Trevor's story have more pressure on him or less pressure on him?
Oh, less.
If the Red Sox are viewed as a contender, it's been a couple years for Trevor Story.
Yeah, he's got to feel healthy.
He's got to feel healthy, but if he's having a tough go, that conversation gets interesting. I guess how about this? I think there's a little more pressure on the left side of the infield because if Devers isn't playing defense, you've got the Gold Glove third.
Care.
You got the gold.
He's in a rake.
He doesn't care, but the team cares. You got a Gold Glove third baseman.
They've made their decision. Go rake, big fella.
Right, but at a certain point, there's a lot of conversation last night at the bar about the Yankees, and Gleyber Torres was asked to play third base, and he said no, and the Yankees were like, okay. But I don't know if you've got a Gold Glove third baseman, and third base defense isn't there for you. The shortstop position, which you thought you addressed a couple years ago, has been a little bit of a wild card. Could be interesting.
Sure.
There's more pressure, which is awesome because pressure means there's expectations, which there hasn't been in Boston for a couple years.
If it gets that bad, where they're like, oh my gosh, we can't play this guy at third base, which I don't know if it's going to get that bad because he makes up for it with the bat. Then, you try to move Yoshida. You put Devers at DH. You put Bregman back over at third base. And if Story can't get it done, you have a guy, Marcelo Meyer, who's just waiting in the wings. They have options, which is...
This is a loaded question. What would GM Trev do if you're where these Red Sox are? Are you, hey, let's see what we've got for half a year?
Yeah, I guess in my mind, best case scenario, we would have already traded Yoshida.
Right.
And
it's an interesting part of this.
I think if you're optimizing a lineup, I think it is Devers at DH, Alex Bregman at third base and Casas at first. Yoshida's like, I don't know. He's what's been his OPS plus throughout his career? It's right around league average, a little bit above, I believe.
Yeah, the numbers aren't bad.
Yeah.
I think there was a slow start last year. I can get in there again. And they've got, man, I'll tell you, this is some talking baseball stuff.
Career 111.
Career 111. That's
Like,
pretty dang good, man.
it's good.
Like if you anybody
That's
that you're
good.
bringing up, you're like, I hope he has a 111 OPS plus.
Yeah. They also have a sneaky ace in the hole with Rob Refsnyder, who's just been mauling lefties for a couple years.
Yeah.
The Red Sox are going to hit. It looks like they're going to pitch. And yeah, I think at this point, if there's a Yoshida offer, you listen. It feels like the pressure's off Yoshida.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't trade him. Like Yoshida could have an 800 OPS next year.
Yes.
Easy.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's you brought this up. I don't think there's a problem. If Bregman moves to second base, that's the solution to the problem this year. So I don't really believe there is a problem, but I mean, I guess like I was just trying to think optimizing my lineup, like, and that's me counting on one of these guys coming up and being a productive big leaguer.
Yeah. God, Sox are back.
I've been freaking saying that all off season.
I know.
Yeah.
And it was
that was
right.
Before Bregman.
It was right.
Yeah.
And now it's the perfect piece. I guess the other part of this, Nolan Arenado was getting rumored there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of Red Sox fans and baseball fans kind of thought that would happen because Arenado's dead pull as well.
Okay.
You kind of get a Hall of Famer for depending how much money the Cardinals are going to eat for a bit of a discount. And his contract gets lower as it goes. His final year's $15 million. But the Red Sox rolled it out there. And
what does it mean for Houston? I know they made their moves already, assuming he wasn't going to be back. But I also think there was like a glimmer of hope in their eyes, and especially with the fans. Like, this guy's been sitting around. That's interesting. And I don't know how this feels for them. I guess, hey, no Altuve in left field, which is kind of like nice. I would have liked to see it, but probably, I don't know. I like him on second base.
Hey, don't rule out anything with Houston. That's always the deal.
Yeah.
I mean, Isak Paredes and Christian Walker might combine for 75 homers this year.
I want to say it's the end of an era because I feel like Bregman and Altuve really were the guys.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm ready to say that yet.
Yeah, it's tough because, I mean, Correa was a guy for a little bit. George Springer was initially. So, like, I don't know. Houston's operated this way. They find a way to win the West.
If they don't make the playoffs this year or something like that, then you can officially say it's the end of an era. I don't think that's going to happen, though.
Yeah, they have to do that, and they haven't. I don't know. Anything else? Bregman, Red Sox, Tigers, Cubs? Does anything need to be said there? Like, I guess both fan bases in a weird way should be happy. Like, I doubted that the Tigers were going to roll out that kind of offer for Bregman.
Why not?
They did.
Why not?
Why not?
Why
for me, it was the Baez money. Like, wait for that to figure itself out a little bit.
Man. Their payroll's pretty low, Jake.
And then the Cubbies, I guess that's the Cubbies were in on this.
See, it's a win-win for the Cubs. They either sign him and you have Bregman, or you have your guy Shaw, who you want to see out there. They really believe in this guy. I think they were thinking if we get him, great, we will figure it out. Yeah. But they don't need him.
A little more Matt Shaw pressure.
A little bit more Matt Shaw pressure. Yeah,
we were willing to offer that guy $120 million to play baseball.
Or you say if you're Matt Shaw, they're willing to give a guy $120 million. I'm a guy.
Hey, if
I play baseball.
If I put up floor war this year, why don't we talk a little bit? God, that's interesting. And maybe people don't care about me saying this, but good for baseball a little bit. The Red Sox, Detroit, and Chicago putting offers out there.
People are not going to like you saying that.
Why?
Big market team, Jake.
Good.
Corporate Jake.
Let the big market teams offer something. If the big market teams aren't being big market teams, that's even worse.
Agreed.
That's worse.
Agreed.
God, Red Sox, Yankees might be exciting this year. That's good for the sport. Shut up, big market Jake.
I mean, they followed the Red Sox around last year. They could have ran it back. They should have ran it back this year. Yeah.
Maybe they will. Maybe we don't even know yet. I don't know. That's a great question. Has
not out
anyone
yet.
watched?
I think it's April, right when the season starts.
Okay.
So this year we're going to be able to track last year.
Yeah.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball.
That's every Netflix series.
So the
golf's
golf's a
one,
year
the
ahead.
golf one, it's all a year behind. So you're just
Okay.
kind of reacting to
Like a
whatever.
full year?
Yeah, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You watched the golf one, right? It's good.
I watched a couple episodes.
Okay.
It was okay.
So this one's going to
People
start
love
off
it.
really
Yeah.
good and then end not that great.
Yeah, right. They were
Yeah,
hot.
They were hot.
Okay. Alex Bregman's off the board. That pretty much clears free agency, except your guy, full pension Piv, was out there kind of lurking this whole time. Kind of got lost in the hodgepodge of pitchers a little bit. There's some interesting numbers there. This was a guy pitching at Fenway that the ERA was a little inflated. This guy had some awesome stats out of the bullpen that what were teams going to view him as? He seemed like a pitching lab guy. It always seems like teams like Nick Pivetta.
Yes.
He goes to the San Diego Padres. New ownership, be damned. What's the contract? You're my numbers guy.
4 years, 55, I believe it is.
Okay.
Which is, in my opinion, for a guy that's been a workhorse
Yeah.
his entire career. He's done bullpen and starting.
Right.
He is a pitching lab guy, tall, can spin it, manipulate the arm angle, whatever you got to do to figure this out.
Yeah.
He's been consistent. He's been a middle of the pack starter, and those guys have been getting anywhere from $15 to $17 million a year. And I believe, what is this divided? What's 55 divided by 4?
Fun
15,
game.
16?
Yeah.
But those have been 1 year deals. He's doing that. I just think this is a great deal for San Diego. I think it's a very movable deal. If he starts out hot and you're like, all right, we're doing the whole Padres thing this year, we're going to sell everyone off, then you can move that very, very easily. Or you have a piece. I think this is just value. It's a value deal for the Padres any way that you slice it. So Pivetta turned down 21, gets 55 guaranteed, but the AAVs are a little less. It's a weird contract where they're most of it's backloaded. I believe he gets a $3 million signing bonus this year and then $1 million salary. That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Don't really know what's up with that. Then the deal fluctuates from like 14 to 19 AAV a year.
Goes 19, 14, 18.
So it's, to me, this is a steal for the Padres.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Joe Musgrove's numbers right now because Joe Musgrove, a couple injuries, but Joe Musgrove has been really good. I mean, if you go back to 2022, 2.93 ERA, 3.05 ERA, 3.88 last year. His FIP, I love a good FIP.
Yeah.
Not super far off from Pivetta, which again, Pivetta's been Phillies and Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two tough places to pitch. San Diego on the right day. I think if you're playing fantasy baseball, Pivetta's ERA should drop naturally. That I don't know. I still get caught up in ERA a lot of times because I do think that matters, but you do have to factor in the ballpark, the defense behind you. That, I think this is a good value sign for the Padres. And unfortunately, it's a little bit of the next conversation that if this is the Padres rotation, it kind of goes to the conversation of we get sucked into the offseason and look how many moves this team did. And it's like, well, the Padres went toe to toe with the Dodgers. They were really good. Sure, they lost a body or two, but if you replace it with Nick Pivetta, that could be fine. I guess the question that's looming over Padres camp, I know there was rumors that Cease wasn't going to report because he was so deep in trade rumors. If Pivetta is filling in, it goes back to the same conversation we've had. If Pivetta's an ad, Padre fans should be stoked.
Yeah, they've had such an interest. I mean, I don't know if interesting is the right word for their offseason. I think it's been pretty brutal for Padres fans, if we're being honest. I agree with you. If this is Nick Pivetta coming to join that rotation and all the guys are there, I like the rotation a lot.
Right.
I still think there's a lot of bang in that lineup. Connor Joe, Jason Hayward, platoon in left field.
Sure, we can figure it out.
Like we're getting, I like it. If this is a move that starts like the trade rumors back up.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we brought a body in, let's have a body out, whether it's King or Cease, then I'm like, I'm back out.
Right.
I really have a very hard time locking in my feelings about the San Diego Padres because like you said, they just went toe to toe with the Dodgers. The Dodgers were calling them the better team.
Right.
They didn't lose that much. Alson Kim wasn't there.
Right.
Profar. They lost Profar.
Profar had a great year. Scott would become
Tanner Scott,
a weapon for them, but bullpen weapons can
agreed.
come.
You can find bullpen guys.
Yeah.
But I feel like people are talking about them like they're done. Like,
yeah.
And they didn't have a great offseason. They've had the lawsuit going on. They've, Profar came out and spoke about how that maybe affected his decision. I don't know how true that is. I really don't know how. I never thought about what the heck was going on with my ownership.
Right.
You just were like, all right.
I think you probably want the best contract you can get.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I don't think it really affects anything on the field other than like, hey, are we going to bring people in? Hey, they named a new control person and here comes Pivetta. So I don't know, man. I'm very confused how to feel about the Padres. I still think I like them a lot. If they start trading away guys, then yeah, it's signaling something different.
If they keep this, you're right. And I would the scope of the NL West has been tough to picture this whole time because it's like we were excited the Giants have put some chips in the table. Willie Adames, Justin Verlander. Let's see what the old Bulls got, huh? The Snakes got Corbin Burns this offseason. The Dodgers are obviously dodgering. You know what I kind of like, Trev? And I know this will get you. It's early, but this will get you going a little bit. The Padres with a little chip on their shoulder.
Oh, but like that's never gone anywhere.
A pissy well, no, dude. They went from like America's sweetheart. Like, you got to watch these Padres. They're electric.
Look at those jerseys.
Right. Oh, my God. City connects. This is MLB The Show come to life. And then it was like the Tatis suspension. But like the Padres were back to kind of being lovable and like, wow, these guys are good next year. That just everything you said with this offseason, like ownership and how good are the Dodgers, that there's not a lot of people that are banging the table for the Padres. That I don't hate that for them. I don't hate Tatis being pissed off. And like, I think his OPS landed in Rob will get it for me. Tatis's OPS in the regular season last year. Okay. What do you think it was?
I'm trying to remember if it was last year. He had one in the 780s or something. Did he get into the low eights last year?
That's what I'm debating. Where'd he land, Rob?
883. 833.
833. The year before that was a
780?
770.
So like, I think everyone in the world think Tatis has more than that.
Yes, he does.
Xander Bogaerts, I don't think he's done. He had a rough year last year. They're like, where's Jackson Merrill going? To the moon? That's our guy. The Padres have a lot you can look at and be like, they don't necessarily need the world of baseball to happen. And no, they still got dudes.
I've been saying that. If they keep these guys, look out.
NL West is a bloodbath.
It really is.
Worried about my Rocks. Starting to get worried.
Cal Quantrill just signed
with the
Marlins. Rockies. What is he doing, baby?
He will be on a team's trade deadline list.
This guy has success at our ballpark that nobody has success at. Let's let him go to the Marlins.
He might have a great year. I'm buying a little Cal Quantrill stock. I think what will be interesting. So, hey, they're not trading. They've got a nice rotation. Go Padres, go. If these are a new ownership operating differently Padres, I'll be interested to see if they can do kind of what they did with Michael King with Cease. Like, okay, let's say they're trading Dylan Cease to, I don't know what team. If you want to dream on one, go. But can they get a starting pitcher
controllable,
you kind of like for 2 or 3 years? Like, kind of retool. Like, they don't need prospects right now. Or can they do exactly what they did, which I always laugh. If you go look at a lot of GMs or coaches or whatever, a lot of times they have their song and they play that song. That I wonder, or maybe Preller does Cease to a team for prospects, and then they flip one of those prospects and one of their guys
Oh, you're
For
getting to the weeds now. Too far.
a little. That's too far for you.
Too
Okay.
far, yeah.
I guess that was talking Padres. What else do you need, big guy?
I think it's good. I think that's kind of wraps the offseason.
A little bit,
Who
right?
else is out there?
Quintana.
That's
always my first one.
You love
What's that about? I
Quintana.
do like him.
Yeah.
I just think an old lefty dog, and he was nasty last year
Yeah,
down the stretch. God, I don't know, man. And I've been
that's about it, Coach. There's a couple of relievers still.
a couple
out
other
there.
arms you can dream on or get innings from, but yeah,
What is it? February 13th. End of the
the
offseason.
day before
officially.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
You and me, same hotel.
No.
What?
You and Joe's. Let's get out of here.
Uncle
We
Joe's
got
was hot
Blitzball to
last
play.
night. We do. If you've never checked out our warehouse game stuff, I beg every 4 episodes. We're filming some great stuff today. I suck. We'll see you Monday. We're everywhere. Chris Rose at spring training coming up. Watch out. Full access.
I guess now's the time to tell you I'm leaving this company and
Oh.
becoming a professional skier.
That's right. The Team USA needs you.
They do.
USA baseball to USA skiing.